You're eating less. You're working out more. You're trying to do everything right. You're skipping meals, cutting carbs, doing cardio you don't even enjoy, drinking more water, trying to be consistent every single day. And still, the scale barely moves. Or worse, it drops for a few days, and then it comes right back up. And at this point, something starts to happen in your mind. You stop thinking it's just a plateau. You start thinking maybe your body is broken, or maybe you are doing something wrong, or maybe you just don't have what it takes. But what if none of that is true? What if your body is actually doing exactly what it was designed to do? And what if the reason you are stuck is not a lack of effort, but a misunderstanding of how your body actually works? Hi, I'm Dr. Elena Quinn, and I specialize in metabolic health, hormones, and how the human body responds to food, stress, and weight loss. And if you've been doing everything right but still can't lose weight, I want you to listen carefully to what I'm about to explain. Because once you understand this, everything about weight loss starts to make sense in a completely different way. Most people believe weight loss is simple: eat less, move more, calories in, calories out. And on paper, that sounds correct. But your body is not a calculator, it is a survival system. And survival always comes before aesthetics, before goals, before anything else. Your body's only job is to keep you alive, not to make you lean, not to make you look a certain way, just to survive. So when you suddenly reduce your calorie intake, your body doesn't interpret that as progress. It interprets it as danger. And the first thing it does is adapt. It slows things down. Not dramatically at first, but quietly. You might still go to the gym. You might still walk. You might still feel like you are doing everything the same. But internally, your body is starting to reduce energy expenditure. Your daily movement decreases without you noticing. You sit a little more. You fidget a little less. Your body becomes more efficient at saving energy. Even your body temperature can slightly drop. And the worst part is, you don't feel this happening directly. You just feel more tired, less motivated, less energetic, and you assume it's normal, but it's not random. It's adaptation. At the same time, your hunger system starts changing because your body is trying to push you back to balance. It increases ghrelin, the hormone that makes you feel hungry, and it reduces leptin, the hormone that tells your brain you are full. So suddenly, food becomes more present in your mind. You think about it more. You crave things more intensely. You feel less satisfied after eating. And this is where most people misunderstand what is happening. They think they are losing discipline. They think they are failing mentally. But in reality, their biology is speaking louder than their willpower. And when this state continues for long enough, your metabolism starts to adapt even further. It becomes more efficient, not faster, more efficient at surviving on fewer calories. So the same diet that once worked perfectly slowly stops working. And this is where people usually make a critical mistake. They respond by doing more. Less food, more cardio, more restriction, more control. But what they don't realize is that the body does not respond to pressure with cooperation. It responds with protection, and that protection makes fat loss even harder. At the same time, stress hormones start playing a bigger role than most people realize, especially cortisol, because dieting is not just a physical change, it is a stress signal. And when you combine dieting with poor sleep, emotional pressure, work stress, and constant restriction, cortisol levels can stay elevated for long periods, and when cortisol is high chronically, your body becomes more resistant to fat loss, especially around the abdominal area. This is why some people feel like they are doing everything right, but their body composition barely changes. Now, there is another layer to this that makes everything even more frustrating. The restriction cycle. You start the day with control. Maybe you skip breakfast. Maybe you eat very little. You feel disciplined. You feel strong. But as the day goes on, your brain starts to push back because your body is underfueled and your survival system doesn't accept long-term restriction easily. So cravings increase, food becomes more mentally loud, your focus weakens, and eventually, at some point in the day or night, you overeat. Not because you lack willpower, but because your body is correcting imbalance. And then comes guilt. So the next day, you restrict even more. And the cycle repeats. Restrict, crave, overeat, guilt, repeat. And over time, this doesn't just affect your weight. It affects your relationship with food, it affects your energy, it affects your consistency, and it keeps you stuck in the same pattern for months or even years. Another important point that almost nobody understands is that sometimes fat loss is actually happening, but you cannot see it because the scale is not a fat measurement tool. The scale measures everything: water retention, glycogen storage, inflammation, food in your digestive system, muscle fluctuations, so you can lose fat while the scale stays the same or even goes up temporarily, especially if you are stressed or training harder, and that creates confusion because you assume nothing is working, when in reality, progress is just not linear. Now, here is the truth that changes everything. More effort is not the solution because the body does not respond to punishment. It responds to signals. And if the signals you are sending are stress, restriction, and overload, the response is protection. So the goal is not extremes. The goal is regulation. First, enough protein to preserve muscle and support metabolism. Second, strength training to tell your body that muscle is needed. Third, a moderate calorie deficit that your body can actually sustain without triggering survival mode. And fourth, recovery, sleep, stress management, consistency. Because fat loss does not happen when your body feels attacked. It happens when your body feels safe. And that is the part most diets completely ignore. So if you've been stuck for a long time, I want you to understand something very clearly. You are not failing. You are not lazy. And your body is not broken. Your body is adapting. And once you stop fighting it, it stops fighting you. And things finally start to change. Because the problem was never that you weren't trying hard enough. The problem was that you were trying in a way your body could not sustain long term. And once that changes, everything else becomes possible. Now, if this video helped you understand what is really happening inside your body, don't just scroll away and forget it, because awareness is only the first step. The real change happens when you apply it. And if you want, I can show you the exact daily structure people use to restart fat loss without extreme dieting, burnout, or constant hunger. Just comment the word reset below, and I'll create the next video breaking it down step by step for you.